Sup? Hey, is this thing working? Ta-da! Okay, yeah, we're on. What's up? Hey, guys. It's good. Let's see here.
Hey there.
Hey there. Oh, okay, that's new, actually. Okay, so hold on a sec. You and John Goodman are killing something. Okay, give me a sec. I'm gonna kind of pop stuff over the whole entire screen here just to make it easy. We are going to do this. Okay, so Kat, can you see what I'm talking about here with so this is the PC stuff here. Oh crap. So you can do your subscription here. And then you get the option there says elevate. You can change it. So you can do 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and then you can change tier 2, tier 3. There's your ways of doing that. Okay. No, I don't want to remove that. Remove this. Aha. There we go. If you go on mobile, what you would do... Let me pull up Twitch mobile. If I go to that same stream... Shut up. When you go to subscribe, you click the subscribe button, and then you've got 1, 2, 3 months. Well, they do still charge you the $1 more on here. So what you can do, oh, it's just, if you're on mobile, that's a cheap way to go around that. Saves you money. So remember the thing we were talking about? Yes, I do. Oh, excuse me. Uh-oh. That sounds dangerous. Ha! As Cat says, dangerous pastime. She's from the UK into my lifestyle. Interesting. Sorry. So where did you meet her? Here? I'm assuming you didn't go there. Online, at work? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Toss a coin to your Twitcher. Your views are now ad free. Those views are now ad free. Thanks, Kat. You don't have to. Guys, all of you that have subbed, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you guys know that I appreciate it. First, thank you. Secondly, I hope I hope you feel. Wait, no, sort of that wrong. I hope you never feel like you have to, or that you like should. I appreciate the fact that you guys do, because you guys actually um, you fund the stuff in the channel. Like, legitimately, you guys are the ones that are buying the games. You guys are the ones that are, um, paying for the games I play. Some of you actually directly buy stuff and gift them. Some of you are putting things here in the subs, and I use uh, those subs and things to buy games for stream. I don't. There might be a couple games that I've purchased with stream money that I haven't played on Steam. Maybe, I don't know. But very few. You're awesome and worth it. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I do. I don't really produce anything anymore. I don't. The only thing that I have going for me is, well, you guys, is the fact that we get to talk. Like, the content is all right. Like, I would say that I wouldn't say I'm an amazing gamer, but I would just say maybe above average. I'm a solid. We're gonna say A is top tier. We're not doing this A with S tier and all. We're not doing that. I would say I'm a solid B plus. B plus. But I'm also saying that the A tier are like, your no hit runners, your world record setters, your gamers who are the professionals. No, I put you at C. I put you a solid C. I even give you C plus. Cat, that was smooth. She's my wife. Thank you very much. Get your hands off. Hey, Tut. Remember the time that you got shot in the face by my wife? Hey, Tut. Remember that? Remember the time? Hey, Tut. Hey, Tut. I gotta tell the story now. So, my wife, I really enjoy gaming with her. I wish she would stop putting herself down in her skill set, and that she would just play more. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is figure out to build a new computer to get her something that's smoother and gives her the ability to have a smoother computer. Because we've maxed out her rig as it is, and it's not going to be able to be improved anymore. So one night, somehow convinced Princess to play Halo Reach online multiplayer versus Tut and Kyle. Kyle is a better game. I think he was better than me. Like, I would put it. I would say he's better than I am. And so Tut was always fun to have on my team because he was consistent. I knew what to expect. I knew how to play around him and play with him on my team. It was good. It was very good. And so she's like, you have a handicap, right? It's like, I don't care. No, you're not. And I was like, I don't care. I'm gaming with you. It's fine. I don't care if we lose. I just want to game with you. So we're playing. Yeah, I would agree. Like, you're better at third person than you are first person. I'll give you that. So, 8.5 KD says otherwise. Well, so we're playing. Yes, she could have pink armor, bright pink armor, and she played. We're at our first rental house playing Halo Reach on Xbox 360, and we're playing split screen. Artist. Okay, I like the name. I dig it. So we play, and first match we drop in, and Princess goes, "Ah!" just like doing this pull, and shoots Tut right in the face with her third shot, and it was headshot, first blood, and so uh, it was a fun time. But what was also really funny is we were playing. It was SWAT is what we were playing. Headshot, you're dead. No shields, nothing. She also assassinated Kyle. She snuck up behind him and was like, "Hey, check this out." I was like, "Dang!" Like she was playing better than I was. We have to bear witness to his doom, too. I have not played Doom 2 in so long. It's been a very, very, very long time. Interesting. Yeah, Kat, I don't know how to fix what you just sent me. Yeah, she did. I was mimicking what she did almost perfectly. Technically, artist, wouldn't this be Doom 3 for all the new ones? Because you had 2017, Eternal, and now Dark Ages? Well, how about this? The worst things in life, just like in Doom, come in threes. I disagree. Got the Holy Trinity, man. Sorry. My nephew's asked me to play a map. Play a map with him, and I was like, we'll see how this goes. I was never a Halo person. It's been so long since I played Destiny. I annihilated them. Let's go. Doom 3 wasn't good. Doom 3. That was. I got to get Zombie in here. Zombie can really. I get Zom. Once Zombie comes in here, dude, artist, Zombie Phoenix knows way more about Doom than I do. Played all sorts of them. The fact that you're thinking about it is proof. Hey now. Touche. I really got to say that this might be. I don't know. Maybe people will call me not a true Doom fan, but I actually think Dark Ages is my favorite one. I am really enjoying the shield mechanic. I'm loving it. Makes you laugh that Doom was direct to consumer software at first. Yerp. All the discs, your 3.5 floppies. Well, they even went to the hard disk. Or if you had to get a patch version, you had to get a whole new version of Doom. You couldn't just update the file. Doom 3 had basically a non-original team. They tried to make a horror game. Worst in the series. The guns were trash. Terrible AI, and RNG was messed up. Gotcha. But it came straight from the guy who created. Yeah, exactly. And now we have mods on like Nexus mods and things. Did you ever play the Dark Ages to answer King Novik's call of duty? Only asked because his Sentinels basically decided to have you Left 4 Dead. No. I haven't played Eternal. Just up. I've not played Doom Eternal. So Dark Ages was one that I saw, and as soon as I saw the shield, I immediately went, there's a shield, and there's a giant Titan. Yeah, I want to play this game. So that's why I got it. And then it was on like 40 or 50% of sale. So I was like, yep, I'm buying this game. Oh, absolutely. Cat, absolutely. And I'm just I'm I'm letting them have fun because it's so good. And I'm just answering the questions methodically. It's so good. Like it's perfect. I am. That's why I said methodically. There's a method to my doomness, madness. That'd be a very good one, but there is one. You're basically treated like a heretic, and no one ever said that it would be easy. But at least the game offers you a fresh supply of blood to draw from. Krem always takes puns seriously. I'm very punctual. Yeah, with Dark Ages, that's one thing I've noticed. Artist is that it's actually really easy to heal up. Almost too easy. Like I'm playing on Nightmare. Yeah, Blood is a Doom like, and Blood is really good. I played Blood in high school on a LAN. Blood is really good. Later, boss is calling me. See you, Contrix. Good to see you, dude. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to catch up. Not mustard. Yeah, Blood. We had fun in high school playing that. We would do network versus modes. We'd be, one person would be on one in the classroom, the other would be over there, and yeah, it was a good time. Blood is almost, I don't want to say carbon copy. That's not fair, but it feels a lot like Doom. Now, Heretic I never played, so I'm not as familiar with that one. And even if I had played Heretic, you guys might quake at my skills. It might be a little bit of a turn. We could maybe have an Unreal Tournament. I don't know. Heretic has a remaster out under Heretic and Hexen. Oh. I didn't know that. See, there's a few to throw back. Are you happy now, Kat? Did that work? In case you missed the games were Quake and Unreal Tournament. Which I actually have Unreal Tournament on PS2. Is Unreal Tournament 2000? It's downstairs somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, it's downstairs. You should play at dusk. Various cultist groups. It's an Unreal situation. Maybe it was Unreal Tournament 2K4. I will say that Unreal is so fat. It was a little too quick for me. Even though I'm playing Doom right now on Nightmare with the lowest parry frame, like this is still fairly easy for me. But it's enough of a challenge that it's enjoyable, and I'm not just walking through the game every now and then. I'm dying, which is it's just enough. Being a shooter, I'm not gonna sit there and do like what I did with Liza P. Imagine if I played Doom without weapon upgrades. Oh, boy. Let's see, how many games have I done on stream with no weapon upgrades? I've done Liza P. I've done Lords of the Fallen, Salt and Sanctuary. Ooh, you threw fear in there. Nice. Maybe. No, Elden Ring, I didn't do no weapon upgrades. I played Elden Ring. I did the DLC without using the blessings. So I did new game +1, no blessings. First run before they did any of the DLC change, like any like patches and stuff on making boss fights easier. So I'm trying to think if there's any other games I've done. Is your Destiny to stand The Last of Us and support Dying Light? Dying Light was really good. Destiny was a lot of fun. Actually, Destiny is Brett Cat. Applause. We're gonna rage against the dying of the light. Wait a minute. You said the worst things come in threes. What about Dark Souls 3? That was a good set. I liked it. Mega Man X3. Dirt 3. Neo 3. Baldur's Gate 3. Hello Kitty's Island Adventure 3. Okay. Forget. Doom has so much close combat, I consider it Mortal Kombat. But for the fact you brawl like a Street Fighter. Well, when you get the city maps, it's more of a Streets of Rage. Wolfenstein 3D. Well, you had the Spear of Destiny to help against Hell. Well, you know, sometimes it's so fast. You know, it's like you're going Sonic, and you know, you don't want to leave too fast that you forget to Pac-Man. Actually, gotta go do dinner. See you later, Cal. Have fun. Watch out for pitfalls. They do call me Commander, albeit I'm maybe not too keen.
Thera, if the tether is removed, the Makers, their directive was clear. What would you have us do? Nothing.
It can't be removed. We scanned it. It's wired to a detonator. That demon, he's after something. You saw that. We call it the Heart of Argent. Anyone who wields it, they'd have the power of a god. Stronger than maybe even you. But the heart is incomplete. It's made up of 2 parts. The other half is a power source, and we don't know where it is.
Valen's search party is still active.
If he ever gets control of it, that much power in Hell's hands, none of us would survive.
Not you.
Unlock the Ancestral Forge.
I like how he stops and nods at her. Okay, hold on. I'm seeking a big payday, but you have to go post all the demons to do it. Oh.
I ask only to be heard. Contact the Ministry. You are stranded in this realm. There is no one left to trust. That is why you allow me to speak. Harass.
I guess there's only a remnant.
Commander, he's on site.
The rest are going to be outsiders.
Get a team ready to sweep the forest when we're done. I'm meeting him at the forge.
Alright, I gotta get back into the controls of this game real quick. Okay. Been playing a few other games, so I gotta remember how to play this again. Full of frags by the time you're done. The level, you maybe a portal on the map.
My people guarded this forest for generations.
Well, if that's true, artist, it'll be quite the descent. Oh, sick. Secret found! Ooh. Oh, no, I want the headshot. Oh. Dang it! Was descent a little too much? Aw, there's nothing, no secret behind the waterfall. Come on, do the trope. I had hoped. We get it from Modern Combat, but I'm not sure able to handle the abuse or all the puns. Hey, look, I have an armored core.
You'll need a key to continue through that gate.
We can do these until Kingdom Come. Deliverance. Woo! Oh, I jumped off the map! Best decision I made. Hey. Bye-bye. Do you mean you're prepared for descents? Subject might be an overload. Ooh, nice. Good callback on Overload. I have that game, by the way. I hate those things. I got the yellow key.
That's it. The gate will open now.
Oh, come on. Keep the headshot, buddy. I didn't shoot that. Hey, buddy, you're burning. Gotcha! There we go, finally. No, I'm more standing by for Titanfall. Bye. I did not pick that up. Crap. Oh, that's a lot of boyos. Oh, I'm gonna die. Yeah, here it is. Right here. Alright, let's see if I can pull this off. Woo! Ah, sadness. That's that. Come on. Imposters among us. Oh, right. Just make sure you join the lethal company. Half-Life, but you never clone. The game's too bright for it to be perfect dark. Although, you know, we might be time splitters.
We lost hundreds when they took control of the mine.
Hey, you lost your arms. I'm on fire, I'm on fire, I'm on fire, I'm on fire! Oh, I'm going back. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Oh. No, I'm not. Wait, do these respawn? Oh, no, they don't. There's no way. There's no way these respawn. They respawn! That's crazy. Where's my mouse? It won't let me change my weapons. Like, I'm trying to use the... Yeah, I guess we're gonna use the... That's so weird. Yeah, goodbye. Not dealing with all that. Oh, whoa, what? Oh. There's a dude bro right next to me. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's not letting me use my mouse to select my other weapons. Yeah, before you could use your mouse to... But, yeah, it's making me use my controller. I wonder. Yeah, okay, so I unplugged the controller, it works just fine. Yes! Ooh, medieval reference. Medieval reference. That's a good one. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot. I need to do that. Get ammo back from my shield throws. Oh, I forgot I had this ability. No, let me get that one. Ugh. I keep forgetting that I have the slow down time thing with my headshots. Okay. Super. Ha. Super. Ha. You know, if I ever upgrade this stream, like for whatever reason, if I ever do, I think VR would be the next thing I'd want to upgrade. Boom. Dang it. The long dark. Now the problem with this, what's up, Nobunaga? I think I'm gonna pull out the super shotgun again. We're gonna do some work. Damn. The heck was that? Yeah, the stupid... Boy. You're up? Alright. Oh. So maybe the play here is that was pretty. Oh, dang it. Okay. Got him. That's better. Whew. Bang. That's much better. So many layers of fear to go through that I need a beginner's guide to help troubleshoot it. Well, I'm definitely not going to be your hitchhiker's guide. Hey! To the galaxy. Seem to focus outward towards his enemies. Bang. Bang. Oh! That was almost unfair. Oh. Yeep! Yeep! How to think about the demons being once human? How about twice? Oh. One, two, buckle your shoe. Bang. Thank you for all the health. Now, I am missing some stuff. Missing that one. Okay, so I need... Oh. Let's go. Stop it! Up here. East one. Whee! No! Okay, we're good. We're good. Nothing to worry about. Nope. We're fine. Bang. Oh, hello. I will take the armor, thank you. Bing. Cool. I got a ruby. Kill the gate. Was that Baldur's Gate? The secrets are all hidden in plain sight.
The mine shut down after the attack, but the Forge still has power. The demons
This shield
are
is more
drawn
like
to
an
it.
eternal ring. Secret level is Tunnels of Armageddon. Hey! You know, one thing that I will say that I didn't really think about when playing Doom was being a sniper elite. I don't really use that weapon that much anymore. Although this is pretty sweet. I just want to get this. Bing! Yeah, that's cool. I guess we're just gonna save the stuff. For now. Of course, there's something down there. All of your rounds you fire off demons are heavy bullets. It's almost like we've entered the gungeon. Now, hopefully what's up next is we can slay this fire. Get shot in the face. The gungeon? Yeah, that's a game. Enter the gungeon. All the secrets you find make one of the heroes of loot. Oh, okay. No, I said gungeon. Well,
The Slayer has reached the
I thought I said gungeon. Music change. You know what that means. Whee! Okay, so that means there's something. Oh, hello. Get in the face. Hello. Thank you kindly. Stop it. Oh, okay, that guy's like dark and darker. Oh, I got a double headshot. Wait. System Shock or Bioshock?
Kira, the Slayer has reached the cliffside barracks.
I'm coming back with a vengeance. Slayer of Shadan? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. Double! Okay. Let's try this again. Like there's a lever I'm gonna have to hit somewhere. Something more to that. What? Oh. Oh. Oh, no. Ah, got it. Ah. Okay. Dang, nice. That was good. Great timing.
Kira, the Slayer has reached the cliffside barracks.
Oh, that was perfect. Ah! Stop it. Man, I was really hoping there was going to be like a jump up here that I could do. some other good puns we could make. There. Running. There we go. That's better. No, it took 3 shots. Wait. Sadness. Stop it. Thank you. Okay, now we're saving that for later. Hi, Banshee. What's up, Banshee? Bang. She's already been summoned. All right. Oh, stop it. Oh, that worked out perfectly. Goodbye, Ryder. Now for the mount. It's almost unfair. Okay. Has that been destroyed? Not yet.
The cannons in the watchtower can clear a path.
Ooh. Okay, so I need to do something over there. And over there. Huh. This gun is so good. Okay, so there's that one. Oh. Ah. I like this level. If I wasn't careful, I would have missed. What? Oh, aha. It's Yak. Yakado. What? No! Oh, we're good. We made it. We're fine. Yep, we're good. Nothing to see here. So we go this way. Then we go this way. Still locked from this side. Supposed to. Oh. From above? From outside? Wait, where am I? Ooh. Okay, so can I not jump on the cannon? Ooh, that. Nope. Messed up. Okay, let's see if I can jump on the cannon. No. Nope. What? Sadness. Okay, well. Oh, okay. I got it. I think I got it. Maybe. Oh, no. Oh, I might have overjumped. Okay. I was afraid I overjumped. Another ruby. Okay, well that's cool. But let's just do this real quick. That's all that was for? Okay. That's 2 secrets I'm actually kind of stumped on. Because I kind of don't like it when games do. Oh crap! Oh, hey, hold up, hold up. Oh, you did not just invisible wall block me. Yeah, you did. Wow, game. Rude. Rude. So rude. I'm missing something super obvious. That's usually what happens. When there's things in here, I miss the most obvious thing. It's like I'm looking for something that's so... Stop it. Like I make it unnecessarily difficult. It's like, I see that. So that's a toy figure. I know that. This... Oh, no, that's a good... I just wonder if there's something underneath. Like, I see that. I don't think I'm supposed to make that jump. Wasn't sprinting there, but okay. Now, hold on a sec. It's back here. I wish I could rewind time and pull that back up. Like, it doesn't feel like this should be there for nothing. I mean, I know there's gold there, but like... It's like, that's the spot. You know? Like, imagine you get a sweet... Hold on. Dang it. No, that's not gonna hit. Cause like, I wanted to see if I can land on this spot that's like right there. Like, oh well, we go on.
This site is ancient. These mines were built to harvest the raw materials of the ancestral beast. The forge is inside.
See a dragon.
That lift will take you down. We're not far now.
It better not take me down. That's a sweet looking sword back there. Did you guys see that? It's a blade and sorcery there. New weapon. Rocket launcher? Grenade launcher. Neat.
We can enhance your weapons inside the forge.
Boing. Bong. What's a meatball? Honey, look, meatball. Dong.
picking up high levels of demonic presence near the forge.
You know what? Just for being so friendly, here you stomp. Bong. 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 Bing bong. Ooh. Oh, I missed the chest. Dang. Oh well. I can find a better one. Access to a better one. Bong. Bong. Sound effects are hilarious to me. Like just the sound of bong. I'm so glad I turned right when I did. Hey, excuse you, sir. Wait a minute. Where's the green one? I took 48 damage from that? How you go? Yeah, boy. Okay. Stop it. Should I make most of your day off? Agadon Hunter? What is that? Oh, you look sweet. Oh, okay. Okay, why are you so cool? Oh! Alright, let's try this again. Get faked out, boy. Okay, I'm not a fan of that. That's bad for me. Ugh. Ooh. I was running to the full heal. Ah. All right. Let's do this. Time to lock in. Okay, hold on. Take two. All right. Ooh. Nice. Oh, that actually scared me. I wonder, actually.
Agadon hunter identified.
I don't think I understand the timing of that attack.
Agadon hunter identified.
That's what I do. Ugh. See, my shield comes back just too late. Okay. Whoa, buddy. Hey, what's up, Arhanko? Yeah, I saw you were playing the first Resident Evil. I was watching a little bit yesterday. I can pick this up. I was lurking. Come on. Come on. Yes. Yes. What? That was it? Aww. That was the execution? I'm a little sad at that. That wasn't even that. Nah. No, that boss wasn't really that hard. Black Lion, what's up? I was just messing up. Yeah, I'm playing on Nightmare difficulty with the lowest parry frame. First run. Okay, so I missed a scan. Okay. Got her spa day today. Ooh. I guess it didn't really hit the dog days of summer.
The mine is open.
Secret key needed. Secret key needed. I'm doing well, man. How are you?
That heart powers the forge. It needs to be reactivated.
I'm gonna have to relive the nightmare when the DLC comes out. Huh. Oh, that's fun. Well, man. Ghost Runner is one of the best games you've ever played, ever. Resting after work. Can't wait to finish my move so I can stream again. Nice. I would like a sword, please. Oh, that's right. I need the secret key. No, I would like this. Hello, secret key. Hello. How do you do? Let's try that again. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Alright, Grims, nice to see your face, nice to see your voice. I'm gonna get some Z's and finish Resident Evil 2. Good night, man. If you guys didn't catch it, our Honk has been streaming Resident Evil 1. If you're into the horror games, go check it out. You won't do it. Sleep well, man. It's like late for you. Like late. I do have to be up at 5:30 in the morning tomorrow, so I'm not going to stream super late tonight. Depending on how things go, this might be my last chapter that I do. He dead. Bye. One, two. Oh. Wait, what? I didn't realize I didn't get the finisher on that. You know what I probably should do? Lock down demons with shield stop for 20 seconds, 7 secrets, 10 direct hits with a great launcher. Okay. That's not that hard. Nothing but nade. Hey, stop it. Has it really not been 20 seconds yet? Man. There it is. The other one was find 7 secrets, I think, so I can play however I want. Super Shoddy. And Impaler, because that's what I like. Shoddy snipes. Yeah, there's been a lot of changes with good people be able to hang out and stuff like that, so yeah, it's good to see old people again. Stop it. Thank you. Whoa. Okay, hold up. Drat. Should use the super shotty again. Ah. Alright, there's that one down. Alright, there's that, and the ricochet, and shot in the face. That's better. Alright. What hit me? What hit me? I just like sniping too much in this game. So much fun. Oh. Ping pong. That's what I was trying to do earlier. Just watch the clip. Well, thanks. I try to make it fun. Oh man, that was bad. That was really bad. Maybe I should stick to sniping. Oops. All right. And 1, and 2, and 3. You! I'll take that, take those, and take that, and take that, and take that. I was showing off. No. Just no. Yeah, they whoopsie. Oh, that's gonna. Yeah. Okay, so it's that thing that's messing me up. I hate those things. So here's what we're gonna do. Bomb. Things in the butt. Alright, there's that done. Okay, so not yet. There we go. Whew. Thank you. Much better. Much better.
Power activated. 2 more switches left.
Oh, hello. Nope. Oh, Wolfie. Okay, so. Yeah, we are absolutely gonna find this thing, because there's one. Yeah, that's a big upgrade one. So yeah, we're gonna find those. Hey, leave me flailing about. I hate those things. Yeah, I'm taking that. I found a secret. I found a secret. Cool. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we're going this way. That was an easy secret. That was easy. See, this is another easy one. That's not a secret. Ooh! Now, see, that's better game. Ping pong. Thank you. Excellent. I almost feel bad at that. Oh boy. Dang. Whew. I'm sad if I didn't have the that life sigil, I'd have been done for. Yeah, I get this. Oh, I already got those. That was dumb. Oh, is this heartbeat number 2?
Almost finished. One more switch.
Is there a wolf in here? No. wolf. Ooh. Let's not get out of this stuff. Dang. Game's actually getting to be pretty tough now. Oh, that was sweet. Oh, the stupid spit. Oh yeah, the spiders, they do not like me because if I fight them one-on-one, it's so easy to kill them. Bye-bye. Poof. Okay, there's two. There's usually three. Usually. Not always. Double! Oh, I messed up. I'll be execute for kicks. That's what you want to do. Not that. Oh. Yes, that. I mean, I meant to do that. Totally. So, we need to find a lever. Something that does the thing in the place. Ah! Ta-da! I'm just gonna let you guys down. They weren't dead, they definitely wish they were now. More than they did prior. yes, the lever. The lever that does the thing. The lever designed specifically for the thing. Thing lever. Goose goes poison. What? Oh, they're gone. Aw, they left. Sadness. Alright, so there is a third wolf. I thought so. That woofers. How do we get up there? It can't be that easy. It can be that easy. Okay, so now I gotta go back and find all the secret spots. The secret doors. Secret door, secret door. Thank you. Well, excuse you, sir. Not okay. Oh. That was a woofer. A subwoofer. Okay. That was just a pure reaction shot. Okay. Now back to the woofers. Woofers. Well, there's another secret door, which that's good. Cute. Secret area. Secret area. Stop it. Cool. Wraithstone. Dumb. Seriously? Is that easy? Okay. Now, wait a minute. Hey, Green Avenger. The iconic blue orbs. I think I need one IRL. Does this make it to where you shoot both shots? Because that's what it looks like. I don't want to always shoot 2 shots. Or does it just make it to where you fire... You just fire both barrels? That's cool. Oh, they refresh your melee charge. No, that's not anywhere near as good as I was thinking. I don't use Shredder hardly at all. We're gonna wait. We're just gonna hold on to it for now. I hope it's a sword. Don't tell me. Yeah. I don't really care about either. My melee, I've done that enough. There's not a whole lot else that I really want to do. You know? Not with the shield anyway. I guess I could go ahead and just do the upgrades on the basic upgrades to have all the basic ones. No. I wish I had a dodge, but I understand why I don't. No. None of that. Oh, you. I tripped. I tripped on the finish line. I did. I landed fairly hard. Thank you. So it's a very fancy door opening. Not cool, game. Not cool. Super not cool, game. Are you those emotes too now? Oh. That's a Twitch. Never mind. Weapon skin? Oh. It's a doll. No. It's the gold. But there isn't any fall damage. Thankfully.
The heart has been primed. We can use the forge now. See you at the elevator.
But, I gotta find 2 more secrets. Oh, not those things. No, no. You know what? Okay, that's better. A little bit of breathing room here. guys hit so hard. I can heal a bunch. Ow. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing this unless I could heal. I'd be dead so fast. Okay. No. Nah. What? No. No, 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 no. We're not. Nah. Okay, that's better. I feel better. I missed one over there. One thing I do wish I could put a marker on the map. That wasn't that bad. Just a matter of focus. Away. Hey, Ace. What's up, man? Oh, that's not right. Oh, that's where I came in. Oops. I gotta say, Ace, your anime drawing is getting to be well, not that it was ever bad. Like, some of the stuff you've been drawing recently is like, dang. Maybe refined is the word I'm looking for. Maybe not. Is good. Yeah, well, that's a one. I think I need 2 secrets. Yeah, I need 2 more secrets. Yeah, I get a skin for that. Whatever. Yeah, because I... So, Ace, have you played this before? No, I haven't. Great. Oh, nice. What was your... So this is my current stuff. What was your favorite gun? And... Oh well, good enough. Oh, there's more stuff! Yay! Cool. Favorite gun, not favorite weapon. Come on. Uh-oh. I think the game locked up. I think I made it. I think I made it crash. Uh-oh. You know, believe it or not, I actually do this fairly often. I'm not even kidding. Ask my wife. Huh. Of course, there's an ad. But the good news is, oh, 45%, maybe. Oh, wait a minute. I'd say less than half, but it's still often. Remember when I played Lords of Shadow and I was able to not only once, but twice got under the map somehow? I don't know if I could replicate that. Like now. Oh. Stop it. Yep. They're interesting little pets, I suppose. Going up. Change my mind. Shield charge. Yeah. Oh, what's up, dudes?
No signs of the demons, Thera.
We won't have much time.
That's a sweet sword.
The Ancestrals never really die. The heart endures. We harvest the energy. Svara. Nim unvek. Anme. Vesekwe. Svara. Nim unvek. Anme. Vesekwe.
Oh. Boop.
They're here, falling back. We'll meet you at the exit.
All right. So now I have runes. Ground fissure. Someone's a ground splitting fissure. Okay. Let's further. Ooh, fire. Mega thrust. Okay. Let's go. That's honestly really cool. The ground fissure, that's pretty sweet. Bye. Got it. Sick. Heal. No, you don't. Ugh. All right, slow down. No. I think I sped up to slow down. No, you did not. Wait. I died. Yes, ma'am. pick up the armor. Thank you. Stop it. Okay. See ya. Oh. Okay. Oh, good grief. Stupid bombs. Okay. I really don't like this gun. The demons with guns are too strong. It's a zombie! Yes, the game is finally pushing back. It's finally getting there. It's still not hard. Like, yes, I'm dying, but it's not like, oh man, this is insane. This is so hard. Like, I can't. It's like I know what I'm doing wrong. And it's not just running out of HP. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, oh, well, yeah, that was my fault. I should have been paying attention over there. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Oh, wait, no. Thank you. It's the best when it's actually throwing an entire chessboard of monsters. Agreed. Agreed. I got a ruby. Yeah, 5. Oh, one of them was a skin. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right. That is kind of how it feels. That's so cool. The dragon was really fun to mess with. All right, guys, I hate to do this. I've only been streaming for a few hours, but I got to be up at 5:30 tomorrow. I'm gonna call it there. I'm sorry. My apologies. I will. I mean, today I had to get up at 6:30, which wasn't bad. Tomorrow I'm up at 5:30, so it's just early. That's all. Thank you, Green. I still haven't found anything. Still haven't found anything that's gonna be more consistent. You know, Monday through Friday, remote, all that kind of stuff. I haven't found any of that yet. You know, still looking. Still looking. If you guys will hang out with me for the raid. Okay, so here's our goofy raid message for the night. If you have the emotes, sweet. If you don't, that is A-okay, because guess what? I got you covered. I'll try to make it to Streamland this Wednesday. I'm at the point of work where things are a wee bit shaky, but playing the ear at best. Yeah. No, I understand. Well, hopefully I'll see you Wednesday. My next stream is probably going to be Thursday. But thank you guys. I appreciate you hanging out. I hope you guys are having a good time because the game is fun and you guys are fun. So putting that together, that's more fun. So love you guys, mean it, and I hope to see you soon. Yeah.